Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to Joy News. I am MFA Akosia Adeti and this is News Today, where we are live from our studios here in Kokomlemle, Accra. We're also live on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 125. Coming up this afternoon, Office of the Special Prosecutor and former NPA Boss Mustafa Hamid brawled in full legal tussle as the OSP officially charges Mustafa Hamid with 25 counts of alleged extortion, money laundering, and using public office for profit. And in this bulletin, government caps university charters at 10 years. The education minister says the reform aims to boost accountability and standards.
I've requested that we extend the charter period. And my Lord, I'll borrow the words from you. Not to perpetuity, but at least for the next decade.
And in our Habitat series, we'll tell you the story of co-living in Accra. 3 young women sharing a single room and pooling their money just to afford a roof over their heads.
At first, we was five, yeah. And other one moved to this side, we left it 3. Then I and Martha were shared to pay the rent.
Stay with us because in this package, we have business, sports and showbiz. Joy News, independent, fearless and credible. Thank you for staying. Let's start with the Office of the Special Prosecutor and the former Chief Executive Officer of the National Petroleum Authority, Dr. Mustafa Hamid, this afternoon rolled in a full-blown legal tussle. This follows the OSP's publication on Thursday, accusing Mustafa Hamid and 6 other individuals and 3 companies of engaging in an alleged 280 million Ghana cedis corruption scandal. Now, lawyers of Mustafa Hamid then issued a statement denying the allegations, indicating he has not been charged with any offense. But the OSP is now out with a 20-page court document raising 25 charges against him. We'll deal with that shortly, but let's start with Mustafa Hamid's earlier response to the OSP, which I'll be reading to you shortly on your screen now. Denial of charges. And here's the response. It says that Dr. Mustafa Abdul Hamid strongly denied all allegations the OSP made against him and affirms that, as of now, no formal charges have been served to him by any court. The response also continues to give his reasons and why he's ready to face the OSP in court. And in this as well, we shall be rolling and telling you how much as of the time he was in office, how much he left, and how much he also came there to meet. But before that, the nature of the allegations has shifted over time from embezzling 1.3 billion Ghana cedis to mismanagement and procurement breaches, and now to extortion of 220 million Ghana cedis with no consistency or clarity in accusations. He's telling us how this particular case has mutated over the period. He also cites a track record of financial growth at the NPA under his leadership, including significant increases in balances across key accounts. And we shall be showing you that in a table form, and account balance when he assumed office versus when he left. Now, account UPPF, the account as of the time he started was 53.2 million Ghana cedis. And then amount at the time that he ended or when he was leaving was 1.14 billion Ghana cedis. Now, PDM as well, 18.4 million Ghana cedis at the time that he started. And by the time that he was leaving, he left 470.67 million Ghana cedis. PPMS will be a little over 20 million Ghana cedis at the time that he started, and left a little over 7 million Ghana cedis at the time that he exited. And all of these, he said, are operational accounts. So a total of 53.3 million Ghana cedis are increasing to 237.9 million Ghana cedis, he said. that he's fully prepared to defend himself in court, confident that the evidence and his public record will prove him innocent. Now I'll take you on Zoom where my colleague James Abeji will be giving us update. The OSP then followed up with the publication of photos of all 7 accused persons and some 25 counts. James Abeji is joining us via Zoom and giving us details of these charges. James, what do you have? James, kindly unmute.
I hear you, Mustafa.
Now I can hear you.
Okay, so these 5 counts are put, 25 counts are put into 3 different charges. The first charge is about extortion, and it contains 4 counts of alleged extortion and conspiracy to commit criminal offense of extortion. The second one is 3 counts of alleged use of public office for profit and conspiracy to use public office for profit. And the third one contained 18 counts of alleged conspiracy to commit money laundering and money laundering offense. And so if you put all together, gives you some 25 different counts on 3 different charges. And all of this indicates the various amounts of monies that are involved, and the 7 persons, some of which were at the time managers or directors of the various funds that you mentioned earlier, and how these funds were transferred from one point to the other. So those are the 25 counts the ASP has, the OSP has put in that court document, for which they will be arraigning the former NPA boss before court on July 23, 2025.
Thank you so much, and James. This is all 25 counts that my colleague James has been providing us, as the OSP has fully brought that document, despite Mustafa Hamid, Dr. Mustafa Hamid, saying that he has not been served with any court documents, and also assures that he's ready to face the OSP in court, mainly because of his public record, and also providing the records that he had left before leaving the office. Now, let's move to the Education Ministry. The Ministry of Education, the Minister for Education, Haruna Idrisu, has introduced a significant reform to Ghana's tertiary education landscape, announcing that university charters will now be valid for a fixed term of 10 years. This policy marks a shift from the previous practice where charters were indefinite or had loosely been defined durations. The Education Minister made the announcement during a working visit to Wisconsin International University College here in Accra. He emphasized that the move is part of the government's broader efforts to strengthen academic accountability, uphold quality standards, and ensure institutions undergo periodic review to remain responsive to national development.
Recognizing the pivotal role institutions such as yours play in the provision of higher education, I've requested that we extend the charter period. And my Lord, I'll borrow the words from you, not to perpetuity, but at least for the next decade. Those of you who are not ready, we would extend the charter period at least for not later than the next 10 years. That's enough room for you to build faculty, enough room for you to improve your infrastructure, both academic, residential, learning, and other resources. But as I said, I'm borrowing the word from my Lord Dochi, not to perpetuity. It cannot continue forever and ever.
We have the Executive Director of the Institute of Education Studies, Dr. Peter Antipate, on Zoom to talk more about this. Thank you so much for your attention this afternoon. Now, do you believe the 10-year cap on university charters will genuinely lead to improved accountability and academic standards?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to your viewers. I think that it's on the face of it, it's a positive move by the Minister of Education. I think that it's going to help boost accountability in tertiary institutions, I mean, at the university level. What I have a problem with is basically the fact that some of these important policies are just communicated to us through platforms such as this. And I think that for a very for the sector that we are running, which deals with building human capital of the country, policies should be given. Policies should be taken through proper scrutiny so that at the end of the day, the end result will be fully achieved. I was thinking that this policy should be made public through a policy proposal published at the ministry's website, where all stakeholders would have an idea of the rationale behind the decision to extend, to cap the years of, the years that the charter will be operational, so that we can make valuable inputs to enrich the decision of the minister. But on the face of it, I think it's a good measure to check accountability and ensure that universities live up to expectation.
Right. Do you anticipate any challenges with this, especially for the private universities?
Yes, there might be challenges because, of course, people who argue that 10 years is enough to build faculty, as the minister said, and do all that you're supposed to do. But we are looking at private universities that are competing with public universities, and in terms of our student admission and all that, and you need a lot of resources to be able to build up to the level that you are supposed to build up to. So I think that there might be challenges. I don't know whether there will be some sort of support system that will be giving these private universities to help them meet the standards that they are supposed to meet within the period that they are being operational. I've seen some private universities coming up and later they fold up because they are not able to get the requisite students for them to run their institution. So we will need to maybe provide a certain level of support for these private universities, so far as we want to, one, ensure that we improve our tertiary education enrollment ratio, which is very, very important. And we have noticed that the public universities alone cannot do this, and that is why the private universities are in to help. So we need to also support them so that they would also be able to meet their standards when the time is due.
Well, so giving this suggestion of reform, if the government is to start, where would you recommend that it will start from? I hear you say that at least it should engage stakeholders and not ignore all the players in the education sector. But where would you ideally recommend that it starts from? Where?
Well, I think that the first point would be for the government to publish the policy proposal. Okay. I think we would need to know in detail the rationale and the other aspects that inform this particular position. Then we can kickstart the discussion on the policy as it's being refined and then finalized. Okay. Now, when that is done, we will be able to get a final document that will be acceptable by all stakeholders. And then I think that within that discussion, we'll know which support system would be given private universities and how we even treat our public universities. Because if you are going to cap the university of, let's say, University of Cape Coast charter for 10 years, what happens after 10 years if that particular public university have got challenges? Are you going to revoke the charter? What happens to it? Because this is a university that's been established over years. So we need to understand the modalities. There cannot be a one-size-fits-all remedy for this. We need to understand what happens to public universities and what happens to private universities. These are discussions that we'll be able to have when the ministry is able to publish this policy proposal for all of us to make inputs into.
Now let's talk about efficient and fair implementation. Given the current state of tertiary education regulation in Ghana, do you think that Ghana Tertiary Education Commission has the capacity and independence to manage this review, the process effectively and fairly even?
I would say yes and maybe a little no. So 80% yes, 20% no. Because normally GTech normally contracts external professionals to assist them in their activities. So as and when they are doing evaluation and assessing faculty and assessing university programs, they contract professionals outside the tech to help them do that. So they will be able to build up that particular capacity. My challenge is that if you get a tech that is politicized, it means that we're going to have a situation whereby that political mindset will be brought to bear on the operations of the tech. And that will lead to a situation whereby private investors that are seen as being run by certain political elements might be victimized. And I think that is the problem that we might have when it comes to the operationalization of these things. So far as we have professionals there, so far as we have people who are going to be honest and faithful to their mandate, I think they should be able to roll this out and monitor it fully.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us today. Except I'm curious whether you are excited about this reform anyway. Are you personally?
Well, I will answer this when I see a whole policy position from the Minister of Education. I want to use your platform to encourage the Minister of Education to start doing this. We talked about this during the previous administration. You see, in modern times, policies are meant for the people. They are not meant for the policymaker.
Okay.
So if you want to do something, bring out the full policy. Let us understand why you want to do that.
Right.
And you get the support from all of us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. You're watching News Today, and I'll take you back to the story of the OSP versus the NPA Boss, particularly because we're joined by lawyer Hanifa Ajua Hayaha, counsel to Dr. Mustafa Hamid, on the phone lines now for some clarifications. Thank you for making time for us. But first, has your client been officially served as of now?
Thank you. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon to Ghana and the world. And thank you for giving us the opportunity to be heard. No, as we speak, he has not been served with any process.
Particularly the 25 counts, or previously when he even briefed the country, no form of serve, nothing at all.
Can you repeat the question?
Now, previously, the OSP addressed the country. It's not the first time we are hearing this, but we have just cited a document suggesting 25 counts of charges. Beyond those 25, even before, he has not served your clients in any form at all on any of the purported charges.
Okay, so he has been invited previously in February, as we have indicated in our press release yesterday. The chronology of the interaction between my client and the OSP has been clearly listed on that release yesterday. In February, he was invited in writing to attend an interview at the OSP, and he honored and attended. What we are dealing with now, that you refer to as the 25 charge, is purportedly the formal court summons that has been purportedly filed by the OSP.
Okay.
That has not been served on Dr. Mustafa.
Okay. Per the response, your client denies all allegations. Why?
As indicated in the press release yesterday, Dr. Mustafa has denied all the charges because he has not done anything wrong, and he has not committed any offense, and all the charges are completely baseless, and he denies them.
Does any of the charge come to you as a surprise at all?
Yes, as indicated in the press release yesterday, every time the OSP speaks or writes about my client, the goalpost keeps changing and changing and changing. So we shouldn't be surprised, but we are surprised because earlier the OSP said that my client was allegedly involved in 1.3 billion Ghana cedis embezzlement of the UPPF fund of the NPA. And as we have indicated, that position keeps changing and changing and changing.
On that particular position, though, Ajua, how did it end with you and the OSP, especially because You said he had attended to invitations by the OSP. How did that particular one end? Has it ended at all?
Well, so we are dealing with, I see your confusion. We are confused too, actually. So we are dealing with one subject matter, which is the NPA, and then shifting goalposts on what the OSP thinks has been wrongdoing that has been done. So as we lawyers say, it appears that the OSP is on a fishing expedition, looking around, throwing baits in the sea to see what fish will come up. Clearly, this is not our criminal jurisprudence. If somebody does wrong, you take your time, you conduct your investigations, you bring evidence that can stand the test of time in the court of competent jurisdiction without any reasonable doubt. That is the threshold in our criminal jurisprudence.
What's the decision now? You wait until you're served, or you have an action you'd like to take?
We will wait to be served, and then we will have our day in court.
Thank you for talking to us today.
Thank you for giving us the voice.
Now, away from the OSP, let's talk about the Health Ministry. Now, Health Minister Kobna Minta Akando has reaffirmed the opposition NDC's commitment to strengthen Ghana's healthcare system, outlining a number of interventions, including the employment of 10,000 nurses, full payment of nursing trainee allowances, and prioritization of stalled Agenda 111 hospitals. Speaking on key health promises, he said efforts are underway to operationalize the free primary health policy, restore broken down ambulances, and collaborate with the private sector to expand healthcare infrastructure.
Every qualified professional has the chance to serve and strengthen Ghana's health system. To complement government recruitment, we're exploring managed migration and private sector options. Regarding managed migration opportunities, over 13 countries have now expressed interest in recruiting Ghanaian health workers. We are formulating policies to ensure these benefits are fairly distributed to both our health system and our professionals. Furthermore, we are also investing heavily in their professional development and welfare to ensure a motivated and skilled workforce. In this regard, the government has implemented conditions of service agreement with our health unions. Also, in recognition of the skill gaps identified by our health labor market analysis, we are revamping the curricula at training institutions to address population health needs, increasing intake for specialist nursing program, and transforming general nursing school into specialized training centers. We are indeed investing heavily in the next generation of health workers. Over the past 6 months, we have guided more than 40 nursing, midwifery, and allied health college through the accreditation process to offer degree programs alongside their existing diploma courses, a significant step forward for quality education. To improve accessibility, we launched a new admission portal for health training institutions that allows applicants to apply from the comfort of their homes. And ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we inherited a system for recruitment, for admissions, where they will generate codes, and these codes are distributed to the banks. And so you necessarily will have to travel from wherever you are to these banks before you can get access to the code and get access to register on the portal to be considered for admission. And so what we did was that we think that people can easily sit at the comfort of their houses and then go online, pay, get access to the platform, and register. And that's exactly what we did, including the reduction in the sales of forms. Ladies and gentlemen, this is another good news. And this good news, I know all of you will attest to this good news. I'm pleased to announce that just 24 hours ago, the nursing trainee allowance for both the first and second quarters amounting to 462.58 million Ghana cedis was credited to the account of our student nurses. I hope you all attest to this fact. Yesterday, I saw the jubilation across the country on the various campuses, and our brothers and sisters were excited receiving this money. It's a promise.
Now, away from that, the New Patriotic Party's 2024 running mate and former Minister for Education and Energy, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, says his passion for leadership and service was nurtured from an early age, rooted in values instilled at home. Speaking on Joy News' personality profile, Dr. Prempeh shared that his upbringing taught him to serve with purpose, a principle that still shapes his leadership today.
How I was brought up. I was brought up in a very politically aware family with a history of decades of partisan politics or active political life. That's how I was brought up. And I was brought up to cherish one thing, public service. And not only public service, bringing value through public service and for public service. Meaning you just don't participate, you participate in the intention of making an impact. That is how I was brought up. Brought up to prove myself that I can sit at the table with decision makers. And not only the elderly, but true decision makers. So brought up by granduncles and uncles far older than myself, whose children were even far older than me. And I served all of them. So that's how I was brought up. So me growing up, having public service has been a duty that has been imprinted in my heart, mind, and everything I do. So even deciding to belong to which associations growing up, where only associations that brought public service to the fore, like joining Boy Scouts at a very early age, be an altar boy at an early age.
What boy?
Altar boy.
Altar boy?
Altar boy.
As in, what's locally we say mass server?
Yes, I'm still
like
a
you're
mass
holding
server.
the thing, pump.
I'm
Really?
still a mass server. Not only that, joining the Red Cross Society, going to do medicine, and the public service. The only difference is that some public service duties are very, very small, personal, but really impactful.
Watch that full interview later today at 9 p.m. on Personality Profile. Now, away from that, drama in court as Mildred Donko, the third accused person and business associate of the former Director General of the National Signals Bureau, fires lawyer Samuel Atachia in open court, saying, and I quote, "My lord, I wish to take a separate lawyer, please," unquote. Bernice Besse was in court for the Chronicles newspaper, and he spoke to Mame Esinyame Chetonse.
Well, the court was process was ongoing. The E3 got up, and so the judge signaled to her to get up and said, the judge asked him, don't you have any representation? He said, no, I do not want to rely on Mr. Atachia again. So in the open court, Mr. Atachia was fired.
I'm trying. You should also
on
do
Mr. Atachia again. So in the open court,
yes.
Mr. Atachia was fired. Process was ongoing. The E3 got up,
National Signals Bureau fires a separate lawyer about events.
What happened was, while the court was process was ongoing, the E3 got up, and so the judge signaled to her to get up and said, the judge asked him, don't you have any representation? He said, no, I do not want to rely on Mr. Atachia again. So in the open court, Mr. Atachia was fired.
I see. So how did Mr. Atachia respond to this?
It was a mixed feeling, especially it turned out to be a banter between him and the DG, because he was trying, the attempt was like, if maybe the proceedings will be adjourned for A3 to hire a new lawyer. But the DAG also opposed to it, saying that the proceedings should continue. So the judge ruled that in case of that, the A3 will be given opportunity to hire a new lawyer or have the opportunity to represent herself if the need be. So the proceedings continue, and the PW, that's the prosecution first witness, was called into the box to testify.
So Mr. Atacha just left the courtroom to ensure...
No, Mr. Atacha was not only representing A3, he was also representing Edubuahin and Angela. And that means his wife, Edubuahin. So all the four accused, that means Edubuahin, A3, A1, A2, A3, and A4. So he was representing all of them, but A3 has elected to find a new lawyer by firing Mr. Atacha in an open court.
All right. And so what else happened in court today? I mean, maybe the substantive case.
The witness were called into the...
That's the voice of Benes Basse, who works with Chronicle, who spoke with my colleague earlier, Mamiesi Nyameche Thompson. Now, the expected appearance of Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Isiama to answer a question has been indefinitely postponed. The central bank governor was expected to answer a question standing in the name of Minority Chief Whip Frank Anodrompe on the recent dismissals and reinstatement of staff at the Bank of Ghana. But according to the majority leader, that appearance will no longer be possible next week, although he did not provide an explanation. Now, Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante joining us via Zoom now to bring clarity to this. Kweku, has there been any response from the Minority Chief Whip yet? Kweku, unmute if you can hear me. Hi, Kweku. We'll try and get Kweku, but you recall that there were a number of persons who were, I'd use the word sacked from the Bank of Ghana, who later were reinstated, and we want to see clarity because the Bank of Ghana governor was supposed to have appeared in Parliament to answer that question, which stood in the name of the Minority Chief Whip, Frank Anodrompe, but that has been postponed indefinitely. And I'll speak to my colleague Kweku. Has there been any response from the Minority Chief Whip yet? Kweku, you would unmute.
He has been furious about the situation in MFI. He says it appears the Bank of Ghana governor is not taking Parliament business seriously, and that this is the second time that he has actually written to Parliament to say that he has other important or equally important responsibilities to attend to, for which reason he is unable to come to Parliament to answer these questions. And so they take strong exception to that. They say that going forward, ministers, independent constitutional bodies, and any other person that are expected to come to Parliament, if you are no longer able to come, when you write, you need to get Parliament's approval before you take the day off. And that the Bank of Ghana governor cannot simply write to Parliament and say, I'm unavailable to come and answer questions and simply stay in his office. And they are particularly very furious about it. But it appears there's nothing they can do about it now. And so they have to let it go. And it says that the majority leader programs the Bank of Ghana governor to come before the House goes on break, perhaps at the end of this month.
Right. Kweku, do we also know anything about the Ablekuma North constituency MP who was just elected? Suppose she was supposed to have been sworn in this week?
The election was concluded last week, Friday. In fact, around the same time last week, there were pockets of violence there. But that election has been concluded. And the expectation was that as soon as Monday or Tuesday, the Member of Parliament-elect would have been sworn in to take her seat, given that Ablekuma North has not had representation in Parliament for months now, since the 9th Parliament was sworn in. But that has not been, that has not happened. I've been digging to find out what exactly is causing this. Is it that the Electoral Commission is yet to transmit to Parliament the official communication as to the election of Madame Rabino Bin, or Parliament itself has not concluded its own internal matters to do this? That hasn't happened. Leaders on both sides, I've been telling about the situation. A leader promising me that perhaps by close of day today, they will be able to give me something concrete. In fact, the business statement was also just presented. You don't see swearing on oath in the business statement. So it would appear there is still a lot of lags in the system that is still blocking a Rabnobin from taking a seat as a member of parliament.
Right. Thank you so much, Kweku. And definitely we'll bring you details of this particular story and more from Parliament in our subsequent bulletins. But away from that, onto our Habitat series. And today, imagine sharing a tiny wooden room with strangers just to afford rent. That's the reality of Judith, Dinah, and Martha, 3 young women co-living in Jamestown who split 2,800 Ghana cedis a month to keep a roof over their heads. Florence Ahodegbe has more in this series.
It's Saturday morning in here at Palladium, Jamestown. And for once, these young women haven't gone to work. Instead, they are scrubbing the floor and straightening their little shared space. Their only retreat in a city that demands too much and gives too little.
My full name is Oforiwa Juliet. I just come here to work.
My name is Diana. I come from Kumasi.
My name is Martha Safo. I come from Kumasi.
This single wooden room is home to Judith, Dinah, and Martha. Strangers brought together by hardship, now co-tenants trying to make ends meet.
I came here to sell to make some small money so that I can take care of my younger brothers. The place I came from, the Eastern region, there is no one there. It's like my grandmom, and my grandmom dead, so I have to come here.
Now, Judith lives with 2 other young women, all traders, all with stories of survival.
Their rent is 280 cedis a month.
They split it to keep a roof over their heads.
At first, it was five, yeah. And other one moved to this side. We left it 3. Then I and Martha were shared to pay the rent. 2.8. And the landlord take it 3 months or 2 months. So you have to pay it every 2 months or 3 months.
Each of us contributes 70 cedis every week. At the end of the month, we use it to pay the rent. It's hard. I don't make good sales every day. Sometimes I don't even earn 100 cedis. And whatever I make, I have to split with my boss. I also pay 25 cedis for my child's school feeding. So by the end of the day, there is nothing left to save or contribute towards rent and light bills.
The rent is high. Paying 280 Ghana cedis a month is no small amount, but we manage.
It's not easy. If you calculate it in the year, it's a whole lot of money. By now, you don't have any place to go, so you have to pay small like that.
Managing, though, comes with compromise. Personal space is limited.
The reason I am not happy is how you want to do your things, If you do it in that way, the other one will come and spoil everything. Then we mess up. So I'm not happy with that.
Live alone, you can arrange your things the way you want. But with co-living, things often feel disorganized.
They each hustle to make it work.
I wanted to become a nurse or a wedding planner, but getting pregnant shattered those dreams. Now I've decided to invest everything in my child. But since my husband died, life has become more difficult.
I'm adding some money, doing some susu, so if I get the money plenty, then I will leave this place.
By night, the noise fades, but the dreams do not. They sleep side by side under one roof, carrying different burdens and a shared hope for a better future. In Accra's harsh housing reality, co-living is not a choice. It is survival. For these young women, sharing space means sharing the weight of life and rent. Florence Ahodagbe, Joy News, Palladium, Jamestown.
You're watching News Today. Please stay with us for business, showbiz, and sports.
Welcome back to Business here on Joy News Today. My name is Winston Taki, and out of first business story. Carl Asset Management, a subsidiary of Carl Bank PLC, has recorded an exceptional financial performance for the year ended 2024, prompting increased investor confidence and share purchases. The management asset Carl Advantage Unit Trust achieved a full-year return of 32.43% in 2024. Here is Chief Executive Officer James Elijah Donko speaking on the company's strategy to ensure sustainability.
Mood is that of confidence, satisfaction, and optimism. We are very optimistic. People receive the message we give them because the returns on the funds have been very good, given the economic situation we had, high inflation, etc. in the year 2024. Having the real return on your investment is a good sign of adding good value to your investment. The benefit, the Carl Advantage Unit Trust was one of the top performers among the balance funds in the market. We did over 30%, 34%. When we talk about the advantage, it was also in the top quarter of the income funds in the market. In all, everything was higher than inflation, and so we delivered real return to our unity holders, and I think that is satisfactory.
In other development, the WA manager of the Intercity Coaches Limited, Kofi Essel, has expressed worry over the worsening condition of the Winchi-Bole-Wa Road, otherwise known as N12. He said the deplorable nature of the road has increased the cost of maintenance of their buses. Rafiq Salam reports.
The first and that greets you on entering the WA terminal of the Intercity State Transport Coaches Limited is this bus that appears to be fairly new from afar. Getting closer to it, it is condemned beyond repairs, parked and grounded. Almost every part of the bus is dented and the paint slowly peeling off. At best, it can only serve as spare parts for buses that are in operation. This is only a tip of the iceberg. There are fleet of buses of the ACC that are grounded as a result of the bad nature of the Kumasi-Bole-Wa Road. One manager of the Intercity Coaches Limited, Kofi Essel, voices frustration.
I've gotten to a point where they are having a telling effect on our buses, especially between the Kabampi and Larabanga stretch. The potholes have eventually turned into manholes, which is having a very big impact on the buses.
The deplorable Winchi-Bole-Wa Highway, otherwise known as N12, poses nightmare for drivers and passengers of the Intercity Coaches Limited. The 744 kilometers or the 10-hour journey is now completed in almost 20 hours. At least in strict sense, it takes fewer hours to fly the 11,008 kilometers from Accra to the United States of America. Rita Moses, who is in her early 20s, hails from Tuapare in the Jiriba municipality, but was born at Accra. This is her first time coming home, and she had this baptism of fire.
Very, very bad. In fact, you can't even sleep. The car is just doing like this. It is as if you're going to fall.
So this is the first time seeing a road like that?
Yes. My mom has been complaining always, but I didn't know it is that bad.
Will that be a disincentive for you to not to come here again?
I'm sure. Yes.
So what do you want government to do about this road?
government should fix the road because this road is not good for pregnant women. Yes. If you are pregnant, you're on this road, I'm sure you lose your baby, so government should come and fix it.
Are you pregnant?
No, I'm not pregnant, but I'm talking on behalf of them.
Another passenger, Gaspar Roland, also bemoaned the poor state of the road.
We leave Accra by 5 p.m. in the evening, but we are just arriving here almost 1. So government have to do something about it. Even when we are coming, I was asking, is there any MP that represent this place? And they say yes, so they have to do something.
The worsening condition of the road has forced most drivers to use alternative routes to the Upper West region or when they are heading out to the southern Gulf of the country. The detour to Fofoso Junction through Damango to Sola, though appears to be better than the N12 highway, comes along with extra cost and traveling time.
And for now, any bus that is coming to our end either has a problem with the beam, either has a problem with the control valves and other things. This has eventually increased our maintenance costs. And so it is our fervent plea that the government comes in immediately.
We have more business update for you at 1 p.m. on the marketplace. That's all. We have entertainment and sports. Stay tuned.
Time now for World Today. Now, hundreds of Liberians flooded the street of the capital on Thursday, chanting "Enough is enough" and demanding accountability from President Joseph Boaki's government. Now, the demonstration, led by opposition figure Malba Molu, marks the most visible protest since Boaki took office last year, promising reforms and better living conditions. The protesters carried signs and voiced frustrations over unmet campaign promises, job losses, and the government's failure to establish a long-promised war crimes court. Now, that'll be all for World Today. Time now for Showbiz, and Shola comes up shortly.
And it's time for Showbiz. My name is Shola Adeyemi. Let's get into our stories. Now, excitement filled the air at Grayson Academy as Michelle Ejekum, host of Joy Prime's Big Chef, made a special visit to celebrate one of their own. The visit was in honor of Sewa, who wowed the judges last Sunday and secured a spot in the finale. Sewa, who has earned the Star Chef of the Day title 3 times this season, was warmly applauded by her classmates and teachers. They rallied support for her, urging Ghanaians to vote for Sewa as the winner of Big Chef Junior Season 4. There's more in this report.
It was break time at Graceham Academy when the Big Chef team, led by host Michelle Ejekum, arrived with a package in hand to honor one of their very own, Sewa Bonsu, who became Star Chef of the Week for the 3rd time in the Big Chef competition. Sewa wowed the judges after the Caesar Salad Challenge on Sunday. As usual, an assembly was held and the students sang her praise as she received her package from the show's sponsors.
I'll say a big thank you to the sponsors because I've won Star Chef for 3 times and then every time I receive my gift. And also my schoolmates. Thank you very much.
As the season's finale approaches, Sewa's friends and teachers called for support on her behalf.
Viewers, my name is Andrew Doughty and I am a friend of Sewa Bonsu. I urge you all to vote for her to the short code *711 *60#. Choose option 3.
Restful and then she's humble. I urge you all to continue voting for her on the short code *711 *60#.
Sewa Bonsu is not just a big chef, but she is going to be a nationwide chef. So therefore, we are seeking for your vote. Please help us with your votes on our Momo number 053-990-2771.
Je suis son professeur de français. Je m'appelle Francis Holly. Elle est très respectueuse, belle et intelligente.
The battle line is drawn. The stakes are higher than ever, and 4 talented young chefs will face off in the final culinary battle on August 3 at 4 p.m. on Joy.
Well, moving away from that, Ghanaian hip-life artist Donzi is optimistic that his latest track, Problem, will finally land him his first Telesol Ghana Music Awards trophy. In an interview with Kwame Dadzi on Daybreak Hits on Hits FM, Donzi shared that despite never winning a TGMA award, he felt he was unfairly overlooked in 2016, where his hits collaboration with Kofi Kanata and Benji, Crusade, missed out on the Best Collaboration of the Year award. This time, however, he is confident Problem has what it takes to get this award and give him the interaction, also put him on the global market as he wants. Well, let's get into that as well.
In love with the new song. Charlie, you guys for try push on for me. Make the song go. I say this song be Hip Life Song of the Year. I go take come and I go make you people know.
All right, thank you.
This is Hits.
Well, and that will be all for Showbiz. My name is Loishla Adeyemi. For more Showbiz stories, log on to My Joy Online. Emma Fadeti.
Quite exciting to have you wrap the week with us. Good to have you back.
It's good. It's been a really good week. I missed you.
Don't jump ship next
I won't.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Emma Fadeti. For more news, you log on to myjoyonline.com. Thank you.